Well, namaste everyone. And when we come to the Hatha Yoga and then the concept of asana, more you go deeper into it, it sort of really like opens like a whole new dimension of understanding the yoga. And I guess this concept becomes quite important because, when you look out and about and talk to people, the minute you say, I practice yoga or I'm learning yoga, I'm studying yoga, I'm following yoga, most people have this image in their mind like you'll be doing some sort of posture work, either you're twisting around or jumping around in sun salutations or doing headstand. So, like most people, when they say, I practice yoga, I follow yoga, it really means they are doing some sort of physical practice, while in a traditional idea, actually Hatha Yoga is a very little drop of the big ocean. And as you know, the scriptures, the Hatha Yoga traditions, they mention that Hatha Yoga gives us the physical and energetic tools to actually prepare our body, our mind, our pranic energies, our chakras for the higher practices. So it is actually, the scriptures itself, most of the masters explain, Hatha Yoga is just a one step to prepare. It doesn't even say it's actually evolutionary practice. It is to prepare us for the higher practices or the evolutionary practices. I guess if you think, in day-to-day life, to be able to even do all the things we want to do in life, taking part in things, including even sleep. If you want to have a good sleep, and if you're feeling in a deep pain or agony or discomfort, it's not easy to sleep, is it? We're going to struggle. Or talk about your food, talk about your lifestyle, your job, things we do. So in a way, you can see how the Hatha Yoga or this physical aspect is actually quite important. So even though in a yogic sense we say this is a preparatory practice, but really, if we have done the right preparation, we are good to go for rest of the journey, isn't it? Like if you get into the car and after 10 minutes you realize, or you have forgotten to bring your passport, you've forgotten to take your credit card or your bank card, your money, or even your bag, well, journey is going to go upside down. Get to airport and then remember, oh, I did not bring my passport. So actually this preparatory practice, preparing our body, mind, and our senses or energy to go through the journey. So it is really creating a strong foundation. Now the Hatha comes from the two words, the two roots, which is Ha and Tha, the sun and the moon, the solar and the lunar energy, or the positive, the negative energy, the prana, the apana. And this concept of the two opposite energies, the duality, the polarity actually exists not only in yoga but any spiritual traditions of healing. You can look into the Reiki, you can look into the Tai Chi, you can look into Yin Yang, so there's so many other practices when you go through the healing processes, especially the holistic healings. This concept of two opposite, the dual, the opposite flowing energies exist not only in yoga but in so many other spiritual traditions. So Hatha Yoga says to really enjoy our health and well-being, to enjoy the equanimity, to enjoy the balance, the peace, balance these energies out. Now, when we say balancing, it's actually improving the polarity, improving the way the energies should be following, or the flowing into our physical body, into our nadi, into our energy system. And what we do to balance these energies, we are using the physical tools, our jatis, or kriyas, or prakriyas, or asana. Then we are using the mudra work. So the mudras like the Jnana Mudra, Namaskar Mudra, where you are connecting various points of your body, your fingers, your hands, to channel, to tune these energies to flow inward. We have the pranayama work. So the pranayama is the work where we use the breath as a tool to refine or to enhance our pranic, our vital energies. Then we have our yogic relaxations, some meditation, or some of the focus dharana techniques to concentrate, to focus our mind, to really bring much more deep relaxation or ease of our body, mind, and consciousness. Now the Hatha term can also be translated as vigorous or forceful. Even though I know for me, this is the literal translation, because when you sort of start thinking, that seems to be a bit more negative. So think of that more like a very strict discipline to control or to refine or to stabilize ourselves. Now, I guess, the word can be seen, when we are stressed or tensed or feeling nervous or anxious, we tend to do that, we start to rub our hands, or we just wiggle our fingers, or if you're sitting around a desk, some people, you can just keep tapping their hands on the table, or just wiggling fingers, or wiggling the toes, bouncing feet up and down. So this nervousness, this trembling of our body, our limbs, it can be as simple as just the fingers, sometimes our muscles. Some people, even I've seen people, like their eyes go quite fast when they're feeling nervous. So think of this concept of hatha is to actually stabilize or to still our body, our joints, our muscles. Now, this is a really great way to think. For me, when I think of the hatha yoga in that way, so now, yeah, literally, when we are doing something, any action that we are taking, either with our body or mind, or it is costing us energy. Nothing is free, is it? So even when I'm moving my hand up and down, it's a constant energy consumption. Energy is being consumed, because without the energy, we can't do any movement, we can't do any action. So in a way, when you say, I'm going to hold my body, my posture still, you actually looking at conserving that energy. And when the energy is conserved, instead of flowing outward through those actions, it start to flow inward. And when this energy flows inward, when you hold your body still, when you hold your body at ease, what it also does is it brings this sense of ease, isn't it? It makes you feel like good. It makes you feel comfortable. Now, like you just done like a couple of hours hard work, either working on office or desk, or maybe out in the garden, or being out to the work, and you just come back home and quickly wash your hands and feet and get a cup of tea and then take a comfortable seat, like so once you've done that sigh breath, once you ease yourself, suddenly that feeling of tension, feeling of stress transforms into that feeling of ease, feeling of comfort, and it really empowers what we call the relaxation response inside out, or you can say outside in, depending on, do we relax our mind or do we relax our body. Going into the nispanda through your practice, going into that sense of ease, you are really stimulating your cellular, your muscular, your physical body, and then that message of relaxation goes from your muscles back through into your brain. And I guess the simplest of example to understand, really think, if you just take your one hand and start to stroke it. If you start stroking your hand, you suddenly start to feel this really amazing sensation of ease or the comfort, or when you are around your parents or the loved ones, when we get a nice hug. It's such an amazing healing. It's such an amazing empowering practice, because that the touch, the soft, that kind, the loving touch, it just makes you feel and it stimulates the nerves, it stimulates the energy that flowing outward, and then that message goes back to your brain. It just empowers that relaxation. But sometimes to empower that relaxation, first we must do something to make ourselves feel that we exist. It's like one of the funny story or the funny example. I think Dr. Nanda was using it, and I don't know where it comes from, but I think there is someone's book or something he was mentioning. But this guy, he just comes in front of the wall and he was just constantly banging his head to the wall, bang, 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 and then someone else comes like, why are you hitting your head to the wall? It must be so painful. I said, I know it is painful. I said, so then why are you hitting your head to the wall? He said, it's amazing. It feels so amazing when I stop doing it. So sometime actually, please don't bang your head to the wall. I don't mean that, but sometime to put ourselves in a stretch, in a challenge, it really stimulates all these deep-rooted nerves and awareness in our body, in our muscles. So when you come to the relaxation, to the ease, you start to feel like, Yeah, I can be comfortable. And as we talk from the scientific or medical perspective, see, we have this inbuilt balancing system known as homeostasis. So our body has this two opposites inbuilt. It likes to do things. Our body, honestly, it's our body and mind, they are amazingly in love when we do things, when we perform. But at the end of the performance, what it likes to also do, it likes to stop, it likes to relax. And this is, we all have that system of waking up and then going to sleep. But I guess when we are living in a chronic stress, tension, burden, anxiety, all these mental dilemma, then our body forgets about relaxation. Because our body and mind, this energy, they both are interlinked between each other. We forget to even breathe. Lots of people, you will find, when they are really into the tension, there's this breathing so minimum, so shallow, that they're not even getting enough breath for their nervous system, for their brain and body to be in action. So we gradually forget this balance, this homeostasis system that we are born with. We are given to enjoy life because of the chronic stress or the chronic tension. And that sort of costs us on our heart, our breathing, our digestion, our muscles. So actually, if you think of this Hatha Yoga concept as you are tensing yourself, you are stretching yourself, you are putting yourself in a little bit of uncomfortable stretch, which maybe we maybe think, oh God, why am I doing it? But actually you are enhancing your body awareness, and you creating that tension, that inbuilt sort of quality our body has, and you come out of it to go into the relaxation, you go into the ease. So the Hatha Yoga is really empowering this homeostasis, this concept of doing and then coming back to relaxation, coming back to ease. Now, this sort of hopefully gives us a little bit of foundation, of Hatha Yoga practice, like why do we stretch, twist, and go through these Surya Namaskars and sun salutations, all these practices. But please do remember, though, before I come to the classical sort of meanings of asana itself, that when you doing your practice, as really, I really love the way Amaji explains it in ashram. It has to be a little bit more than your comfort. So if you're not really stretching enough to feel it, then you're not really going to get much out of it. But if you are stretching yourself more than your limit, when it becomes painful, when it becomes the burning or sharping pain, sort of pinching pain, then it becomes unhealthy. So whenever we're doing the physical practice, we got to try to stretch a little bit more than where it feels comfortable, but not too much. And I guess some people do say, isn't it, like there is no gain without the pain. But in Hatha Yoga, that pain, when that pain becomes burning or sharp, and then you will end up having more rest and medication than you need. So that is actually not healthy. Yes, we want to compress ourselves to enhance this stimulation, enhance this energy, the stretch, to become aware, to improve strength and flexibility, but only up to a certain limit. Not going beyond that. After your one Hatha Yoga practice, you need rest for a couple of days. So please don't ever make you sort of overstretching or over pressing yourself into the postures. And then always coming back, returning back to relaxation. And I think earlier I was mentioning to Jackie too, I'm not sure like how you did with the this month's practice, but I'm going to send you all one more extra bonus lesson, and so that will have like a much more gentle and subtler practice, just to keep you, so you can choose between two of them whenever you need. Are you saying something, Paula?
No, I was going to say it's the balancing was hard, but yeah, I liked it. Yeah, but it was hard.
Yeah, no, just as a bonus, really, I will send one more links, and then you all can do whichever practice it feels right for the different times and days. Anyway, just sort of came in my mind, and I thought I mentioned it while it's there. So let's keep moving. Now I'm going to take us through the really understanding the concept of asana from more of the traditional, the ashram or the yogic concept. As you know, when I think of the asana concept in our Raj Yoga philosophy, as we're going through step by step, last few months we have discussed the meanings of the yoga, then we have taken ourselves through the concept of yamas and niyamas. So in the Ashtanga, this 8-limb practice, this evolutionary process, actually the asana comes as a third limb. Now, the way Patanjali really explains, he says the asana is your sthiram, so that is steady, sukham, at ease, at comfortable is the state. So that state of your being within yourself where you can be at comfort. And to me, that is really the most beautiful definition or the most beautiful way to look at our. It's that state of ease, state of being, state of like the self-love, that I am comfortable with myself. And I guess especially into our modern life, where there is this constant judgmental outlook that people are living now. Constantly we are comparing, competing, and other people looking at us, from our material perspective or physical perspective and all that, what we got. There is something to prove. So in a yogic concept, that outer comparative or that competitive look, when that goes away, you come and sit within yourself and you be at ease. Now, please, being at ease doesn't mean that I don't have to do anything. I am very happy and comfortable. It's more than that. It's actually being at ease with yourself, but not in a lazy or that idea of like I don't need to do anything. It's coming at ease, coming at the full potential or the full optimum within yourself. And then as the concept we keep coming back and forth is doing our best and leaving the rest. So to me, this is really the self-empowering concept of doing our best and leaving the rest, that state of ease. Now the asana word itself, is translated as a seat, as a throne, or as the governing principle. So in a typical Hindu family or an Indian family, if you go and ask, say, who holds the asana? Who holds the throne? Who holds that place of decision making? And it's a very interesting phenomenon again to look at for me when I think of the asana. Is that I, that me in all of us, that you in you. How does that I, that self, that awareness holds us in ourself? It's actually the self-empowering concept of I make my decisions, I make my choices, I live my life, I breathe, I eat, I drink. Because it's a really amazing concept, whenever we are doing things that are not healthy, or that something that I would literally use the word, even deep in our heart we don't approve. In those moments of life, when you look at and when you talk to people, when you hear people, there is this twisted way to look at it. It is like, I did it because of that. I hear people like, oh, I don't really like drinking, but I go down to pub because of social time for my friends. Honestly, I get hearing many people, and I'm kind of like, sometimes I laugh like, look, if you fancy a drink, go and have a drink. Don't blame your friends or don't blame your society. But I feel, because there are so many things in life, even we don't approve it from inside. And when we don't approve it, we excuse things around. And to me, this concept of asana of I, that me, that self makes the decision. Self takes part in all my own actions. And when that self empowers, when we become our own authority, that is the state of asana. When you become your own king, your own governing principle, own master, your own authority. Who makes the decision in us? It can also be seen as the the responsibility of our thoughts, our choices, our actions. As you know, the word itself, if you can look at it, it's responsibility. It's the ability to respond. Well, we have the ability to respond when we are in ourself, when we are in our element, when we are in that union. And I'm sure, we all experience that in our day-to-day life too. When you are really in yourself and you are like fully connected within yourself, with your own elements, your own intellect, your own mind, your thoughts, the decision making is very smooth, very efficient. And even those decisions, whenever we even make the wrong decisions, still we can learn so much from them. But when we are half muddled and half excusing and manipulating, it's very hard to see why did it went so well or why did it go wrong. It actually will have an effect not only on learning from mistakes, but also learning from, the self-approval. When you in that element, it's so easy to be appreciative, isn't it? So be able to sometimes you can see some people like, wow, that was so amazing, I'm so grateful. And then the other times, we just don't see that. And it's something even I experienced many times, where in that inner peace, when I'm really in deeply connection within or with myself, the love, the gratitude, the appreciation that comes out for the smallest of the things. And when that is disconnected, disjointed, even if someone gives me something I desperately want, still it's just like, what do you want? Why are you looking for? Or why someone is doing this for me? So it's just like, this whole mind manipulation, this mind game that plays into life. And to me, that's what I see out of my yoga mat, what asana really means to me. What asana means to us all is the way you hold yourself, the way you really present yourself. If someone say, okay, you got a minute, tell me who you are, or what do you think of yourself? And to me, that is the asana, that is the throne, that is the place you hold yourself. And honestly, for me, it's a really great practice, because we think like what people think about me, what people think about you. Well, honestly, in my experience, or this is like my belief, and it really works good for me because it makes me much easier to live my life. I believe, and in my experience, most people think what we tell them. At least 60 to 80%, and the rest, obviously 20% or maybe more, depending on who we are. We all add a little bit of our own stories around it, because the experience of same thing for each and every one of us is different. But if someone say, oh, if I send you both a message, can you please write a bit of review on me? Now, because I'm telling you that I practice yoga and I'm teaching you what I teach, so that review really comes from that. If Jackie in the very beginning would have said to me, Nyandev, I'm a doctor and I do heart surgery. So if anyone asks me, tell me about Jackie, then, that review, that talk, that thought process will be around what we know. And what do we know is what we tell, what we express, what we communicate. So to me, this concept, when we talk about the seat, the throne, this holding ourselves, this asana, is not just the physical hold. It's not just the physical presence, is it? It's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the intellectual presence. It's like, if someone say, okay, or, you just tell me, yeah, that there is someone would like to meet with you, and you out in Navarth, and then the person is there too, and he or she is waiting in a cafe. And then you're going to tell me, oh, this person thinks like this or look like this. So how do we explain to somebody, what they look like, or when you're giving a little bit of, supportive sort of feedback or recommendation. So that is, to me, is a release of our being, the asana, the way we present ourselves or the way we present somebody. So asana is not just the performance of your physical body, the dynamic movement. It's also that seat, the presence, or the way we hold ourselves. So it can be seen as your mental appearance, it can be seen your energetic appearance, it can be seen in your communication, it can be seen in the way we act or respond or react to things. So in a way, the asana classically has so much more than just the physical practice. Now the next thing in Patanjali says that once you learn to hold yourself still, you lose the duality, you lose the trembling of the body, you lose this outer flow of the energy, you get rid of the conflict. And as I said, for me, that is when you are in your own element, when you are deeply in connection. So these concepts of yoga, they're actually not mystic, they are just simple, they are very profound, and they can be understood in our day-to-day life. So that is the state of being where you become free from the duality, you become free from all the physical, mental, and energetic movements that are not necessary. So to me, you can also see that the asana concept is free from the clutter. The clutter can be physical, mental, or emotional. That is disturbing the energy flow. That is stealing the energy that can be used or consumed for the higher practices or the peace or the equanimity of our mind. Now also in a classical terms, as in Shiv Samhita says that there are 84 million asanas. So now here in a symbolical way, the asana is also associated with the yoni or the species, the life form. So each and every life form is also regarded or associated with the asana, the state of being. And it says that we all have to go through these life processes or the life forms so we can learn or experience this life process. So it's sort of like like way we look at from the modern perspective, isn't it? Like our life is an evolutionary journey, that the human, like you and me, we're not just born human in a day. So the life has been through from a singular cellular amoeba, the fish, the water bones, and then gradually coming to the earth, and we coming through the evolutionary process into life where we are. So similarly, this concept of asana also explains that the life has all these evolutionary processes that we go through. And he says each and every life form in that way has its own perfection, its own role, its own beauty to play. So in that way, there is no hierarchy, like something, one life is more important than the other. Each and every life has its own importance, has its own beauty, and we have to go through this evolutionary process to become who we are. And through this evolutionary process also we are growing or moving upward towards the higher states of intelligence or self-realization. Now I guess when we think of the asana in that perspective, in that concept, also gives us a really good, I guess, sort of like a faith or the belief that we all are going to attain self-enlightenment, realization or liberation, or this awareness to the divine, to the cosmic awareness at some point. And honestly, I always think you never know, you might have already done 83,999 times. So you might have, this is the last one. Who knows? But at least, it gives us all a bit of assurance that in this evolutionary process, we all are evolving. And as in yoga, one of the attitudes we talk about, looking at our life as in from a more of our divine perspective. These are really some of these beautiful ideas or the concepts on asana from various perspectives. Now, as in earlier I was talking about, the asana can be performed in standing, sitting, lying. The asanas also classified as the asanas that we use for meditation or pranayama practices, like cross-legged sukhasana or feet. The asanas also can be classified as the asanas to improve our health, well-being, our flexibility, our strength, endurance. Asanas can be also classified as the part of our relaxation process or the easing process. Then we have the more dynamic asanas and more easy asanas.